What's going on? So I was hoping to do this video outside in the yard, but it looks like it's gonna rain, like bad. So I didn't want to set everything up, have it rain, have to start over. So in the new kitchen, figured I'd do this video in here since it is food related. That's a good place to do it. So what I'm looking at is some backpacking food. I got a trip coming up tomorrow. That video will probably come out before this one, but I've got a bigger trip coming up at the end of September, and I'm looking at some different options for food. So I was looking online, thinking maybe doing some Mountain House or something like that. And Mountain House meals are like $10 a piece on average. That's a lot of money for some backpacking food. And then I saw this. This is the 4Patriots 72-hour survival food kit. This has 3 breakfasts, 3 lunches, and 3 dinners. This only costs $29. So I don't really know what I'm going to get. I've heard of the name 4Patriots before. I've never tried any of their stuff. So I'm going to open this up and we'll take a look. I'm going to take some of these with me on this trip I'm doing this weekend. It's only an overnighter. So if the food is kind of disgusting, I don't really care because we won't be far from civilization. Let's see. Oh, this is a zipper bag. I don't need the scissors. So it's a zipper bag. And inside, let's see what we have here. A creamy, oh, okay, I see how to do it. Oh, all right. So this isn't 3 separate meals in 3 separate bags. Well, it is. So you've got a big pack of creamy rice and vegetable dinner right here. I can smell something. You got Grammy's sweet oatmeal, which is right here. And then you've got America's finest mac and cheese, which is right here. So they're not individually wrapped meals. This is all 3 lunches, this is all 3 breakfasts, and this is all 3 dinners. And something appears to be open. Or something spilled in the bag. It might just be from manufacturing, because I can definitely smell something. Nothing appears to be open. No, nothing appears to be open. Okay, so let's take a look. I can probably break these down into separate meals. So, on the back, it's going to give you how to prepare, open pouch, and remove oxygen absorber, whisk contents into 8 cups of boiling water, cook 2 to 3 minutes, remove from heat, let stand for 3 minutes before serving. Serving size, 1/2 cup. Okay, so there should be 1.5 cups in here. Makes 8 servings. $72 hours is 3 days, correct? This seems odd to me, no? That you'd have a 72-hour survival kit, 3 days, but you have to open everything in one shot and make it and store it. But if it's an emergency and you don't have power, how do you keep it from spoiling? Not going to ask questions like that. This is not an emergency, this is for backpacking. So I'm going to break these down. 8 servings. Why are there 8 breakfasts and 4 of everything else? I mean, I usually eat 2 servings of oatmeal in a backpacking anyway, so that's not really a big deal. So I'll use a cup of this, but that's not what I was expecting. I was expecting like 3 breakfasts, 3 lunches, 3 dinners, individually wrapped each. Like 3 individual bags for breakfast, 3 individual bags for lunch, and 3 individual bags for dinner. I'm not sure why it's done like this. I'll I'll do a little research and see if I can find out why. For survival food, it really seems weird that it would be all or nothing. Like, if that's 8 servings, and you're one person, that's 8 breakfasts. You got to make it all in one shot, because these aren't resealable. These bags aren't resealable. All right, you might see a weird cut here, because this is confusing me. I'm not sure why it's packaged like this, unless this is made for 4 people for one day, which is what it would seem like, because it gives you the directions for cooking the entire pouch, not single servings. So that would mean they are assuming you're going to cook this whole thing, which then you'd have to eat the whole thing in one shot, because if it's an emergency and there's a disaster, you may not have power, most likely won't have power. So if you've got all this food made for one person, even 2 people for 2 days, how do you keep it fresh? How do you keep it from spoiling if you got no power? And why are there twice as much breakfast than there is lunch and dinner? 8 servings versus 4 servings each here. I usually eat 2 servings of oatmeal on the trail anyway, so that's not really a problem. Maybe that's what they're thinking. Most people don't eat a half a cup of oatmeal, they're gonna eat a full cup. But yeah, so I usually do a cup of dry oatmeal for a breakfast when I'm backpacking. I don't know. So I'm looking here to see if it says anything. Designed for long-term food storage. So if it's not open, it'll last for 25 years, I think it says. Or maybe it doesn't say in here, but I did see somewhere. Made in USA, disaster-proof packaging, 5,300 customer reviews. No added gluten or MSG, that's good. Protects you and your family in crisis. Tastes great, nutritious, and easy to prepare. More protection and free 72-hour kits. Okay, so let's talk about a larger, what is this? The 3-month survival food kit. You get free 72-hour kits with that. But everything here, this is like a puzzle I didn't know I'd be finding today. Everything here talks about this being a 72-hour survival food kit. 72 hours divided by 24 is 3. So this is a 3-day food kit, 72 hours. Why is it set up in single preparation pouches? These are not resealable. So if it's an emergency, it's a disaster, things are disheveled, things are going on, you open this up to do 1 serving, you can't reseal it. No, that's not a hole. Leave your comments on this one. Does this confuse you? I'm looking at it as backpacking meals. That would be 3 separate breakfasts, 3 separate lunches, 3 separate dinners. Not all of them in one. Logically, this makes no sense. But I guess it really doesn't have to. I do have Ziploc bags. I will separate them, and I will do the math and figure out the single serving directions for each one of these. I'll do that right now. I'll break them down. I'll do the math. I'll come back. I'll go over that, and then tomorrow's the trip. I'll take this stuff with me. I'll try it. I don't think I'll have any today. I just ate lunch. If I would have known this package like this, I would have made some mac and cheese. But yeah, let me get that done. Get these separated into single serving backpacking meals, and then we'll go from there. All right. Okay, This is very interesting. So I took all the meals and put them into Ziploc bags. I was going to do a single serving for everything except for the oatmeal, but here's what I found out. So I broke it down for single serving settings, and as I was doing the measuring, I'll show you what I used. I used real honest to goodness measuring cups. And here's what I found out. For the breakfast, the full pouch says it contains 4 cups, which would be 8 half-cup servings. What I actually had, though, I did 1 full cup of dry in each bag. So I did 2 servings per bag. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-ish. Definitely not 8 servings in that bag for the breakfast. That was short by, a serving and a half probably. So keep that in mind. It's easy enough to calculate the difference though for doing single serving because it's oatmeal. So it's usually a 1-for-1 ratio. A half cup of water for half cup of oatmeal, a full cup of water for full cup of oatmeal. That doesn't change regardless of whether you've got enough in there. Although, if you were doing this by the full bag and you did 8 cups of water in 6-ish cups of oatmeal, it would be very, very runny. So not an accurate fill on the breakfast. The lunch, the full pouch says it should contain 1/3 cups in the pouch. Had a little bit more, maybe a cup and a quarter instead of a cup and a third. So there's a little bit more. Here's what I got. I did double servings in this. So this is a 1/3 cup per serving. So this is a little under a cup. So it's 2/3 of a cup per bag. If you were just doing the single serving on that, just 1/3 of a cup, they say, what do I have in here? 3 2/3 cups of water for the full pouch. So that would be just about right for what I had in the bag if I was doing the full pouch. So if you're doing a single serving of 1/3 cup, you would need 0.67 cups. So just under 3/4 of a cup of water. And if you're doing 2 servings like I'm doing, I'm going to do 1 1/3 cups. Maybe overfill this a little bit, and definitely make sure if you're breaking them down, you shake them up well, because the cheese powder kind of bricks up and settles to the bottom. Same thing with the oatmeals. Make sure you're really mixing those up before you separate them. So there we go. That's 4 servings right there. 2 lunches. When I'm hiking, I eat a lot, so I'm gonna have a lot of mac and cheese. That one, like I said, was filled a little bit extra. Not a lot, but filled a little bit extra. Next up for the dinner, full pouch says it contains 1 1/3 cups. That was, if it was off by a little tiny bit extra. So it was an accurate fill. It says that for the full pouch, you'd use 2.5 cups of water. So if you divide that by 4 for the 4 servings, you'd use, again, 0.62 cups of water. So a little under 2/3 of a cup of water there. And since I'm doing 2 servings, I'm going to use 1 1/4 cups of water for these. Now, the other thing I found is that this is not what I was expecting. I was expecting more like a Mountain House or Packet Gourmet, like a freeze-dried meal. No. This, to me, obviously the oatmeal is not going to be. That's just oatmeal with some maple sugar and some flavoring in there. But this is basically Kraft mac and cheese that you get in a box. It's just in a bag. This, the dinner, there's rice in there. Rice is, you don't have to freeze dry rice. And it's just a powdered mix with some vegetables in there. Again, it's something you get in a box. These are like box dinners in a bag. Understand, this is not freeze-dried food. So it's a little bit heavier than you'd be expecting. And I'm not talking about a lot. I'm going to grab my scale and tell you exactly how much all these weigh. All right. I'm glad I did this inside because as I went to go get the scale, I could see it is raining out. So I would have got wet. So I got my scale. And let's see. The breakfasts are almost a pound for 3 cups. 15.2 ounces. The dinners for the 4 cups or 4 servings, 10 ounces. And the dinners, 8.6. Over 2 pounds for the food. So not super light, not horrible, but it is just basically, this is just boxed macaroni and cheese with dried cheese powder, some oatmeal, which is oatmeal, and this powdered rice mix. But it is only 30 bucks for all this, and it doesn't look like much for 30 bucks, but for the backpacking trip, I'm going to take 2 breakfasts. I'll probably eat breakfast before I go tomorrow, but just in case I get hungry on the trail early, I always like to take something extra. So I'll take 2 of those. I'll take my 2 lunches. And I'll take a dinner because I know the trail. I know it's not going to be, we won't be out there for 4 days. You know, I know that. I don't even know if I'll eat this. I could probably do without the second lunch and just take some extra snacks with me. But I'll take it just because you never know if somebody else is unprepared. You come across somebody on a trail who got their food stolen by a bear or something like that, and they need something to eat. It's always good to carry some extra with you, even if it's not for yourself. When you're out on the trail, you got to look after other people too. So let me put all this stuff together and see what my food weight for this trip is going to be with the 4Patriots. So 24.3 ounces with the bags, and that is double servings on everything. So if you don't eat as much, like the macaroni and cheese, now I'm looking at it, it's going to be a lot of mac and cheese. Oh, my battery just died. Yeah, my battery's dead. So my mac and cheese, that's a lot of mac and cheese. You figure that's going to fill up that whole bag, probably up to here. I might split that down in half. That's too much for a lunch. Yeah, I might reorganize that and split it into half. So that'll save a little bit. That's a lot of mac and cheese. The dinner mix, I don't know what to make of that. I mean, it's gonna be dinner, so even if it fills up to here, it's just rice and some vegetables. It's gonna be interesting. So the next thing will be on the trail, and I'll try to remember to record it because I'm doing a video on it. We'll find out though. All right, I'm gonna get that separated down to a little more manageable and then get ready for this trip. See you on the trail. Okay, so we have stopped, and I'm using 4Patriots food for this trip, exclusively for this trip, and not as a promotion or anything like that. It was what was available and the price was right. This is the mac and cheese. I put a little bit too much water in there. But this is just Kraft mac and cheese. We're not even Kraft. This is like store brand mac and cheese with powder. It's not good. It really doesn't taste like cheese. I mean, the noodles are still a little crunchy. That's my fault. But the taste of it is, I'll eat it because it's here. But as of right now, I would not recommend this. But we'll see. I only had a certain amount of alcohol on my stove, so I didn't boil the water all the way. Could be part of it. We'll see how dinner goes. But right now, I don't think cheese is supposed to be that color. Could be wrong. All right, I'm gonna eat that and see what happens. It is 6:30. We're eating dinner. Everybody's excited about their dinner, except for me. I don't know what I'm gonna get here. I'm pretty sure this what I'm going to have for dinner is going to be really disgusting. If it's like the lunch. I could be wrong. I don't want to jump to judgment too quick, but that's supposed to be rice and vegetables.
Oh.
Does that look like rice and vegetables to you?
It doesn't.
It doesn't, right?
It really does not.
There's a couple of grains of rice in there. I don't know what all the powder is.
Let's see, when you said powder, you weren't exaggerating.
I was not kidding, no.
I don't even know if I'd leave that for anybody on the trail.
I don't know. I mean, I don't have to worry about any bears stealing it, that's for sure. So I'm going to put some water in this and
like, this is what the humans eat now?
see what it does, and I'll let you know. But I do have some chicken and rice Mountain House as a backup, which I'll probably wind up eating too, because that mac and cheese did not hold me over. The last probably mile, probably since the road to here, I could feel my calories just gone. I was wearing out quick. So this doesn't look like it's gonna do much. So we'll see. I think my water's ready. I'll show you. There's no way to explain this. What is that? And the rice is starting to plump up, and there are some. I see a pea, but I've tasted it, and I shouldn't have done that because it's disgusting. It's really. I really don't want to. I don't like knocking companies, but this stuff's bad. And I bought this with my own money. So I've got the Mountain House already on deck, just waiting for water to boil, because this might go right to the privy, because it's going there anyway at some point, either through me or me just carrying it over. So I just might skip the middleman and just getting dumped one there and the other. So yeah, not good. So that's 2 strikes. I can't imagine the oatmeal is bad, but I'm not gonna even try to assume that right now. That's really not good. I can't recommend somebody using 4Patriots food for any reason whatsoever. This stuff's not good. Sorry, 4Patriots. Not a fan. Not a fan. Breakfast time. Good morning, first of all. It is round 3 with the 4Patriots food. This is oatmeal. I can't imagine they screwed this up, but okay. So the oatmeal looks like oatmeal. Smells like oatmeal. Tastes like dirt. No, it's not bad. So 1 out of 3 meals from 4Patriots. That's not a good record. That's not bad, but it's oatmeal. Unless it wasn't really oatmeal, it was just little pieces of cardboard in there. That's really the only way you can screw that up. But got my oatmeal, got my my coffee is just finished up. I'm gonna eat and get packed down. All right, so let's wrap up this video. To be fair, when I got back from the backpacking trip, it's been about a week since I got back from the trip. I did try to do this closing of the video, and I scrapped it and I'm redoing it now. But I am going to pull a part of that where I actually went ahead, I prepared the dinner, that 4Patriots dinner, that creamy rice and vegetables. I prepared it on the stove the right way with the right amount of water, the right cooking times and all that. This is how that turned out. To be fair though, I have on my stove here just now re-prepared one of the dinners, this creamy rice and vegetables. I'm going to show you a picture of what they show you it looks like. Now, I understand that's not always the case. This is the reality of what you get. This is cooked to their instructions. This is not light and fluffy rice like they show in the picture. There's very few vegetables in there. It's got a lot of creaminess to it, I guess. But would you survive on this? I can't possibly imagine that cooking it a little bit longer on the stove is going to change the flavor of this. I didn't eat it. On the trail, I did not eat it. I ate a Mountain House. Shadow had a Mountain House, extra Mountain House meals, and he graciously offered me one. Thank you, Shadow, because luckily at that shelter where we were, I could have ordered a pizza, and I would have if I was there by myself. But this I was not going to eat as a meal. But I will give it another shot right here, just to give it a fair shake, prepare it the right way. I mean, it's not absolutely horrible, and if I was starving and had no other choice, I might eat this, but the rice is very rubbery. The the vegetables. There you go. There's a pea. That's the only thing I've seen in here. Is maybe some shredded carrots and a pea. The pea was like a rock. If it turned out like this on the trail, I probably would have been able to just eat it. But it's just rice and some freeze-dried, or not even freeze-dried, powder. I don't know what they do with these. They might be freeze-dried vegetables. The vegetables might be freeze-dried. The rice is not, because you have to do a lot of cooking time. No, I don't think I could. I wouldn't eat this at home. So I can't say I didn't give it a fair shot. So as you can tell, it wasn't much better. It was not much better. So just like a recap, breakdown of everything so far. The packaging. When I looked at some of the reviews on their Amazon store, and I always look at the good reviews, at the 5-star reviews, I always look at the lowest rating reviews of anything to get that, see what people's real gripes are and if they're legitimate, and then if people that are just like glorifying it may not have ever actually used it. And a lot of times you see people give 5 stars, haven't actually used, but no, that's not a review. You should probably use it. But one of the main complaints you see on their Amazon store, and now reading those and looking back at how I opened mine up, one of the complaints is that when they get the packaging, it's either not sealed, like the individual bags aren't sealed, or there's holes in them. Now, the first thing I noticed when I opened up that main bag was that I didn't need to tear the top off or cut it with scissors like I thought it was going to have to. I was just able to open it right to the zipper. Now thinking back, that shouldn't have happened. That should have been sealed somehow. And I didn't notice any holes on the inside bags, but I could smell what turned out to be kind of a mix of the maple and brown sugar, the oatmeal, and the rice and vegetables meal. You could smell it. It was obvious when I opened. Actually, the kitchen smelled like it for a day or two. So either something overfilled and spilled in that bag, or maybe there was a pinhole in those bags and I didn't notice it. I didn't see any air leak out. I tried to like squeeze them and see if there was like air inside or if it would escape, and I didn't notice anything, but I could definitely smell it. So there may be a packaging issue there, so be aware of that, because if that's the case, those won't last 25 years. Pertaining to the 25 years lasting, the disaster resistant packaging, and the way that they're freeze dried, and I say freeze dried because these meals are not freeze dried. I will repeat that so you understand it. These meals are not freeze dried. No. This is your standard boxed dinners. They're probably packaged right alongside the same stuff that you can buy from your local store under your, like the store's brand. That's what you're getting here. These are not freeze dried. There's a difference between dehydrated, like what I do with my meals when I go out. Well, my dehydrator is packed away, but where you just have like the little dehydrator and you dehydrate the stuff and you take it out with you, right? That's great. That's going to last you a few months probably. You throw it in the refrigerator and you vacuum seal it, maybe a year. Freeze drying should last 25 to 30 years if it's freeze dried and neatly sealed and stored away. What they've done isn't freeze dry. They use a process called spray drying, and it's only for the powdered ingredients. So it's not freeze dried if you're using uncooked noodles and spray dried cheese. That's not really freeze drying the meal. The sprayed powder may use a form of freeze drying, but it's only for that cheese sauce or the creamy sauce for the vegetables. The vegetables in the dinner might have been freeze dried. It's hard to tell because they never reconstitute it, even when I cooked it the right way. So what that means is that when you're preparing them, if you're looking at a freeze dried meal like a Mountain House or a Backpacker's Pantry or Packet Gourmet or any of those brands, they make the meal, the entire meal, they make it, and then they freeze dry it, and then you package it. So all the moisture has been removed. All you have to do is add water back, and it will reconstitute. Cold or hot, it doesn't matter. It will still reconstitute. It may take a little bit longer, but you don't need to do any fancy cooking with that. With raw, uncooked pasta noodles and rice, you need to bring that to a boil to break down the starches so that the noodles and the rice start to soften. If it's freeze dried or even dehydrated, that doesn't take as long. So the 4Patriots is just uncooked, never cooked pasta and never cooked rice. So you've got to do this long process. And you think, well, so you got to cook it for 15 or 20 minutes. When you're backpacking and you're using like an alcohol stove or even a canister stove, that could run into issues if you're going to be out for a few days because you can only carry so much fuel with you. If you're in a survival situation and you're even at home and there's no power and you have an electric stove, what are you going to use? Probably a camp stove. And unless you've got 7,000 canisters laying around, you're not going to last for very long on something you've got to cook for 20, 30 minutes at a time. So for the survival food and the camping food aspect of it, this is just a miss completely. It's poorly marketed. If you're going to make a 72-hour, this is the part that really confuses me. And I've harped on this a little bit, but this is what really confuses me. It's a 72-hour, a 3-day survival kit, and not a single thing about that is a 3-day serving setup. If you look on their website, they say it's for one person, 5 servings a day. Why would you not just make your meals a higher caloric content and do 3 servings per day, broken down into individually packed meals, if that's what it's going to be? If it's a 72-hour survival kit, you should not have to find a way to store the excess food that you had to cook according to the cooking directions in non-sealable bags. That should never happen. Don't know what you're thinking, 4Patriots. As I did more research though, I did notice that there are several other companies that use similar names with the word patriot or veteran or something like that are marketing these survival style meals and products that are selling the exact same thing. So this isn't something that 4Patriots went out and had some company develop for them. They just went to a white label company and said, give us what you got, we'll package it as a survival kit. And that's wrong. I'm sure some of their stuff is good. I know some people may watch this and really not like what I'm saying, but this is the honest facts. These are not survival meals. This is poorly packaged for people who they're marketing to people who don't understand. How do I put this the right way without super offending anybody? These are marketed towards people who are being told that they're prepping or getting ready for survival, but they're ill-equipping people to do such. That might be the best way to put it. They're ill-equipping people, telling them that they're being preppers or survivalists and giving them garbage. I think that's my final thought on that. They're just selling you garbage. Not a fan of bashing companies, but this is something you really need to look into. If you're going to buy them, buy the cheapest thing you can and try it first. And put yourself in a situation that may be similar to what you would have to do in a survival situation, and see how much energy you're going to expend to cook these meals and what the payback's going to be. Because I think you'll find it's not worth it. I will not be using 4Patriots anything again. If you're a fan of 4Patriots, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to offend you, but I really can't recommend this. It's nice that they support veterans and their families, but there's other ways for you as a consumer to do that. Do your research. That's all I'm going to say about that. Hope you found some useful information on this. I know it's not my typical video because I'm appearing to be very hard on 4Patriots on this, but when it comes to food and survival, like truly you're marketing something as survival, this is not something you should be marketing for survival. You could literally buy this stuff at the store for cheaper, vacuum seal it yourself, and store it. And, get some of the little pouches, throw them in there, the little silica moisture wicking pouches, throw them in there. And you'd probably have better meals. So I hope this helped you in some way. Not outdoors, but outdoors related, this video. Next one will be more fun, I hope. See you in the next.